In the shadows of a dense forest, where the sun struggled to break through the tangled canopies, there lurked an unsettling aura. The trees swayed as if whispering secrets, and an uncanny stillness enveloped the air. Alicia, a young woman seeking a moment of solitude, hiked further into the depths of the woods. She had hoped to escape the chaos of her life in the city. But as she sat by a gnarled tree, a shiver crawled up her spine. Something was watching her. Every rustle of leaves seemed amplified. Every branch snapping felt like a warning. The eyes felt close, the one seen, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. In another part of the woods, a group of friends, Mark, Jesse, and Prasad, decided to make a camp for the night. They shared laughs and stories, poking fun at one another. But as they lit up their campfire, an unexplainable chill gripped the air. Strange howls echoed in the distance, reminding them of mythical beasts from their childhood stories. Jessie half-jokingly swept her flashlight towards the underbrush, catching glimpses of bizarre creatures, distorted foxes with elongated limbs and glinting eyes. Maybe it was too late for ghost stories after all. Meanwhile, Daniel, a reclusive night shift worker, was alone in a vacant office building. The hum of the fluorescent lights above did little to dispel the shadows creeping from the corners. Paper rustled as if someone were whispering secrets from behind his desk. Just when he thought he was alone, a loud snap echoed from the break room. Panic set in as he faced the darkness, his heart racing. There was something unnatural roaming his office on the outskirts of town. Officer Grant was fielding unexplained disturbances at the old Echo Ridge Motel. The motel had been long abandoned, shunned by locals due to its dark past, buried in a mishmash of urban legends. Reports of lights flickering and screams piercing through the night had been frequent lately. He received a call about a strange sight. Hesitant, he drove towards the deserted building, his gut churning with an ominous premonition. Back in the city, a teenager named Sarah sat home alone, her phone buzzing with alarms as a storm was brewing outside. Glancing at her window, she felt a jolt of dread when she spotted a figure in the distance, shrouded in darkness, staring right back at her. It didn't move, just lingered, its face hidden beneath the shadow of a large hood. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, even further back into the woods, an urban explorer named Jay set foot into the Echo Ridge. He had heard the stories and was determined to uncover the truth behind the dark literacy of the motel. Grabbing his camera, he ventured through the rotting doors, illuminating the filth within. What he discovered would send shivers down his spine. A hidden room with remnants of a ritual, long abandoned. Strange symbols were etched into the walls, and the air was thick with dread. As night fell, the experiences of the disparate group began to intertwine. The boundaries of their worlds blurred, each character now aware of an impending dread. Alice's solitude became a nightmare as shadowy figures began pursuing her deeper into the woods, their forms shifting and swirling around her. Then Mark, Jesse, and Chris's laughter turned to screams as the twisted beings they had mocked emerged from the darkness, lunging at them with ferocity. Meanwhile, Daniel braced himself against the creature that lurked in the shadows of his office, a grotesque version of something he once knew, tearing at the very fabric of reality. Officer Grant arrived at the motel to find the doors slammed open. Inside, he discovered a congregation of the monster-sized creatures preparing to enact a dark ritual. The display horrified him. Right then, he received a frantic call from Sarah, who was now barricaded in her apartment begging for help, and she cited whispers in the hallway, assurances that she was not alone. The young adventurers, now cut off from rational thought, stumbled into the woods with the creatures hot on their heels, where they collided with Alicia, who had taken refuge against an ancient tree. It was an inevitable meeting of fate. They regrouped and formed a plan to confront the horrors, pursuing them, bolstered by newfound courage. As Daniel and Officer Grant united at the Echo Ridge, it became clear they were facing an ancient evil. The hidden knowledge from Jay's Exploration revealed the links between the creatures and the rituals performed long ago, causing the desperate inhabitants of the hotel to vanish. A raw connection was made they needed to stop the ritual, where the entangled horrors would keep feeding off their fear. The group needed to utilize individual strengths, Elisa's tenacity, Daniel's quick thinking, Grant's authority. In a charged showdown radiating with adrenaline, they made a stand. Alicia and her newfound ally screamed at the darkness, drawing the creatures into the light of an ancient torch found in Jay's acrobeak. The light dispelled the shadows momentarily, and in the chaos, Daniel tossed a relic of an ancient text towards the monstrous cult, scattering them in confusion. In synchronicity, Officer Grant found his resolve, firing shots into the ether, driving the wave of malevolence deeper into retreat. As dawn broke, the turmoil began to recede, the creatures shrieking in futile anger and horror. With the final explosion of light, as the last remnants of the ancient ritual collapsed upon itself, the malign presence that haunted the woods faded into a whisper. They emerged, victorious but changed forever. The constant reminder that darkness lurked, even where the light shined. Alicia stepped up the woods with her friends, looking back with a heavy heart. Mark and Jesse promised to never forget the bonds forged in terror. At the apartment, Sarah, now hyper-aware of shadows that flickered in the corners of her eye, kept the blinds drawn tight, a vow to always remain cautious. Daniel, now haunted by his experience, turned in his resignation. Officer Grant, invigorated with purpose, knew his new mission was to enlighten others about the darkness in our midst. Jay, our errant explorer, witnessed the horrors of his curiosity and vowed to share the truth, striving to chase the shadows away from the light. As their lives continued, the haunting experiences remained a twisted reminder that some shadows would never fully vanish, and the echoes of the night would forever whisper their secrets in the dark.